The cold silence of deep space stretched out before Captain Jinwoo Park like an endless black canvas. His fingers traced the holographic display, a habit he'd developed over years of watching and waiting. Outside the command deck of the USS Horizon, what looked like a scattered collection of old shipping containers and industrial debris floated almost carelessly. Nobody would suspect a thing. Jinwoo remembered the briefings, the countless strategy meetings where brilliant minds had crafted this moment. Humanity had always been the underdog in galactic politics, a young species overlooked by more established civilizations. But they had a secret, a really big secret. The alien scout ships approached, their sleek metallic hulls gleaming against the starfield. Zorn reconnaissance vessels, known for their advanced scanning technology and complete confidence in their superiority. Jinwoo's team had spent years preparing for this exact moment. "Incoming scan," whispered Seo-Hai, his senior communications officer. Her fingers danced across multiple holographic interfaces, carefully managing the electromagnetic signatures that would make their fleet appear nothing more than space junk. The Zorn scanning beam swept across their position. Sophisticated technology probed every inch of the seemingly random collection of objects. If they looked too closely, they might notice something unusual, but that was the brilliance of the design. Nothing looked unusual at all. Jinwoo remembered Professor Kim's lectures about adaptive fleet architecture. "Imagine a fleet that breathes," he would say, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "A living system that can transform faster than an enemy can comprehend." Those words had become the foundation of humanity's most ambitious military project. Each container wasn't just a simple object. They were modular spacecraft components engineered with quantum-entangled communication systems. They could reshape, reconnect, and transform within milliseconds. What looked like random debris could become a complex, interconnected combat network. In the blink of an eye, the Zorn scout ships continued their methodical scan. Their technology was impressive, but they were looking for traditional fleet formations. They couldn't comprehend the revolutionary approach humanity had developed. Seo-Hai's voice cut through Jinwoo's thoughts. "Scan complete. They're preparing to log and move on." A slight smile crossed Jinwoo's face. "Perfect." The alien vessels began to rotate, preparing to jump to their next reconnaissance point. They had found nothing of interest, just another unremarkable sector with some space debris. Exactly what humanity wanted them to believe. But beneath that calm exterior, an entire fleet was ready, waiting. Jinwoo knew the stakes. Earth had been watching the growing tensions in the galaxy. Powerful civilizations were expanding, consuming resources and treating smaller species as mere footnotes in their grand galactic narratives. Humanity had decided, not this time. Their hidden fleet was more than a military strategy. It was a statement. A declaration that they would not be overlooked or pushed around. As the Zorn ships prepared their faster-than-light jump, Jinwoo issued a single command. "Standby status. Maintain current configuration." The debris remained motionless, appearing completely innocent. No advanced sensors could detect the intricate quantum networks connecting each module. No scanning technology could reveal the potential for instant transformation. Humanity had become a master of misdirection. The alien ships vanished in a burst of light, completing their routine patrol. They would report nothing unusual, a sector filled with typical space waste, unworthy of further investigation. Little did they know that what they had just passed was the most sophisticated military system ever conceived. Seo-Hai looked at Jinwoo, a mixture of excitement and professional composure on her face. "First stage complete, Captain." Jinwoo nodded. The real challenge was just beginning. They had successfully remained undetected, but soon they would need to prove that humanity was not just another small species to be ignored. The universe was about to learn a very important lesson. The research facility buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains looked like nothing special from the outside. Just another government complex surrounded by unremarkable terrain. But inside, something extraordinary was happening. Hyuk Kim leaned over a holographic workstation, his eyes burning with the kind of intensity that comes from years of passionate research. Scattered around him were prototype modules that looked more like industrial shipping containers than sophisticated spacecraft components. Each piece represented years of human ingenuity. "We're not just building a fleet," Hyok muttered to himself. "We're creating a living system." The quantum-entangled communication network was humanity's greatest secret. Traditional military thinking always focused on individual ships, massive vessels with predetermined roles. Humanity was about to flip that concept completely upside down. Each module could communicate instantaneously, sharing computational power and structural integrity faster than any known galactic technology. They could reshape, reconnect, and transform in milliseconds. What looked like a simple cargo container could become a complex weapons platform or defensive shield almost instantly. Dr. Una Park, the lead quantum physicist, walked into the testing chamber. Her clipboard held dozens of complex calculations that represented months of grueling research. "Ready for the next phase?" she asked Hyok. The test simulation began. On the massive holographic display, what appeared to be random space, debris started moving, not with predictable patterns but with an almost organic fluidity. The modules connected and disconnected, creating complex structures that defied traditional understanding of fleet design. A traditional military strategist would see chaos. Hyok saw poetry in motion. The team had studied every known galactic civilization's military doctrine. The Zorn Imperium relied on massive battleships. The Centauri Collective used swarm tactics. But humanity? They were creating something entirely different. A fleet that could think, adapt, and transform faster than any enemy could comprehend. "It's not about having the biggest weapon," Hyok often told his team. "It's about being unpredictable." This simulation continued. Modules that looked like simple cargo containers suddenly merged into complex defensive networks. Weapon systems materialized from what seemed like empty space. Communication pathways shifted and reformed faster than the human eye could track. This wasn't just technology. This was a revolution. Outside the testing chamber, photographs of previous human conflicts lined the walls. Wars that had taught humanity the most critical lesson. Adaptability means survival. Every module carried the collective memory of human struggle, engineered to never be caught off guard again. Una noticed Hyok's intense concentration. "Nervous?" she asked. He chuckled. "Excited. We're about to change everything." The final test sequence began. The holographic display erupted with a complex dance of technological innovation. Modules connected and disconnected with mathematical precision, creating defensive and offensive configurations that would make traditional military strategists question everything they knew. Humanity was no longer playing by anyone else's rules. The team watched in collective silence. Years of research, countless sleepless nights, and unprecedented collaboration had led to this moment. They weren't just engineers or scientists. They were architects of a new era of space defense. As the simulation concluded, Hyok turned to his team. No words were needed. The holographic display told the entire story. Humanity had just redefined what was possible in space warfare. The galaxy had no idea what was coming. Admiral Sung-Ho Lee stood at the massive window overlooking Earth's primary Space Defense Command Center. The room hummed with quiet intensity, filled with holographic displays and young officers who represented humanity's most advanced technological generation. He remembered his grandfather's stories, tales of how humans were once considered insignificant in galactic politics, how larger civilizations would casually dismiss Earth as a primitive backwater. Those days were about to end. The strategic plan wasn't just about military superiority. It was about survival. Earth had spent decades collecting intelligence, studying every known galactic civilization's military doctrines. The Zorn Imperium believed in overwhelming force. The Centauri Collective trusted in numerical superiority. But humanity? They were developing something completely different. "Adaptability is our greatest weapon," Sung-Ho often told his training teams. The latest intelligence reports confirmed what they had suspected. Galactic tensions were rising, resource-rich planets were becoming battlegrounds, and smaller civilizations were being crushed without a second thought. Humanity refused to become another statistical footnote in some alien empire's expansion records. The modular fleet design was more than a technological marvel. It was a statement, a declaration that humanity would not be pushed around. Lieutenant Jae-won Kim approached, holding a classified report. "Sir, our latest simulation shows a 98.7% adaptive response rate in potential conflict scenarios." Sung-ho nodded. Each module could communicate faster than light, reshaping entire fleet configurations within milliseconds. What looked like random space debris could transform into a complex defensive network almost instantaneously. The command center felt different from traditional military spaces. No rigid formations, no outdated hierarchical structures. This was a fluid, dynamic environment, where every team member could contribute instantly. Young technicians worked alongside seasoned strategists. Women and men from diverse backgrounds united by a single mission, protecting humanity's future among the stars. "We're not just building a defense system," Sung-ho would tell his recruits. "We're creating a living, breathing organism that can think and adapt faster than any threat." The technology incorporated lessons from humanity's entire military history, lessons learned from conflicts on Earth, guerrilla tactics, adaptive strategies, the importance of communication and flexibility. Each module carried the collective memory of human resilience. Massive screens displayed potential conflict scenarios. Where traditional military models would show predictable fleet movements, humanity's design looked like a complex, ever-changing dance. Modules connecting, disconnecting, reforming with mathematical precision. No alien civilization had ever seen anything like this. The strategic revelation wasn't just about technological superiority. It was about challenging the fundamental understanding of space warfare. Humanity was saying, "We might be young, but we're not to be underestimated." Jae-won pointed to a simulation showing how their fleet could absorb and redistribute damage. Traditional military thinking assumes linear defense. We're creating a system that learns and adapts in real time. Sung-ho watched the holographic display, a slight smile crossing his face. Years of secret research, countless sleepless nights, and unprecedented collaboration had led to this moment. They weren't just preparing for potential conflict. They were rewriting the rules of engagement. The room buzzed with a quiet, confident energy. These weren't just soldiers or technicians, they were the architects of humanity's galactic future. Each person understood that their work represented something larger than individual achievement. As the simulation concluded, the message was clear. Humanity was ready, not just to defend, but to declare its place among the stars. The Galactic Council chamber was silent. Thousands of representatives from different civilizations sat frozen, their eyes locked on the human delegation. At the center stood Yoonji Choi, humanity's most brilliant diplomatic strategist, her posture calm and confident. She wasn't intimidated, not anymore. The confrontation had been brewing for months. After the initial reconnaissance reports from the Zorn Imperium, alien civilizations had become increasingly nervous about humanity's mysterious technological capabilities. Rumors had spread like wildfire across interstellar communication networks. "We are here to address the concerns about our fleet design," Yoonji began, her voice steady and clear. Representatives from the Centauri collective shifted uncomfortably. The Zorn diplomats looked like they were about to explode with frustration. Their advanced scanning technologies had found nothing conclusive, yet they were certain humanity was hiding something significant. Behind Yoonji, a holographic display began to shimmer. What appeared to be random space debris slowly transformed before their eyes. Modules connected and disconnected with incredible speed, creating complex defensive and offensive configurations that defied conventional understanding. The room collectively held its breath. This wasn't just a technological demonstration. This was a message. Humanity was announcing its arrival on the galactic stage, and they would not be treated as a minor species anymore. Years of careful preparation had led to this moment. Earth scientists and military strategists had studied every known galactic civilization's technology, learning their strengths and exploiting their weaknesses. The modular fleet design was the culmination of decades of research, incorporating lessons from human history, quantum physics, and adaptive technological concepts. Our design ensures defensive capabilities that protect not just humanity, but potentially contribute to galactic stability. Yunji continued, her words carefully chosen. The Zorn representative, a tall creature with metallic skin and multiple eyes, couldn't contain his frustration. Explain how a fleet that appears as space debris can be considered a stabilizing force. Yunji's smile was subtle. Unpredictability can be a powerful deterrent to conflict. Each module in the human fleet carried quantum-entangled communication systems, allowing instantaneous reorganization. What looked like random containers could transform into a complex, interconnected combat network faster than any known technology could track. The demonstration continued. Weapon systems materialized from seemingly empty space. Defensive shields formed and dissolved with mathematical precision. It was less a military presentation and more a technological performance art. Alien civilizations had long underestimated humanity. They saw a young species barely a century into space exploration. They didn't see the innovative spirit, the collective determination that had allowed humans to survive and thrive against incredible odds. This isn't about aggression, Yunji explained. This is about ensuring our right to exist and protect ourselves. The Galactic Council representatives understood the unspoken message. Humanity was no longer asking for permission. They were stating their existence. Behind the diplomatic facade, an entire generation of researchers, engineers, and military strategists had worked tirelessly. They had transformed humanity's historical challenges into technological innovation. Every conflict, every struggle had been a learning opportunity. As the holographic display concluded, the message was crystal clear. Humanity had arrived, and they would not be overlooked. The silence in the chamber was deafening. Some representatives looked terrified. Others appeared begrudgingly impressed. But everyone understood one thing. The galactic landscape had just changed forever. Yunji's final words echoed through the chamber. We seek peace, but we are prepared for anything. 12 months had passed since the diplomatic revelation, and the galaxy was still trying to understand humanity's unexpected rise. In space stations, diplomatic corridors, and military command centers across multiple star systems, one question dominated every conversation. What would humans do next? Back on Earth, life continued with a newfound confidence. Young students in universities discussed galactic politics like previous generations talked about sports. The modular fleet design had become more than a military strategy. It was a symbol of human innovation. Captain Jinwoo Park stood on the observation deck of the orbital research station, watching a new fleet prototype being assembled. What looked like random industrial containers slowly connected, creating something extraordinary. Each module carried the collective hopes of an entire species. We're not just building ships, he whispered to himself. We're building our future. The transformation wasn't just technological. Humanity's entire approach to space exploration had fundamentally changed. Where other civilizations saw boundaries and limitations, humans saw opportunities. The modular fleet design represented more than military capability. It represented adaptability. Diplomatic channels that were once cold and distant now hummed with cautious respect. The Zorn Imperium, once dismissive of human potential, now sought technology exchange agreements. The Centauri Collective requested joint research programs. Smaller civilizations looked to humanity as a potential protector. No one had anticipated how quickly things would change. Professor Yuna Kim, one of the primary architects of the fleet design, explained it best during a global broadcast. Our strength isn't in our weapons. It's in our ability to understand, adapt, and grow. Her words captured something fundamental about human nature. The ability to turn challenges into opportunities. The refusal to accept predetermined limitations. The research facilities that had once been secret were now partially open. Not to reveal all their technological secrets, but to demonstrate humanity's commitment to collaborative progress. Young scientists from different backgrounds worked together, breaking down the traditional barriers of national and cultural divisions. Each module in the human fleet carried more than quantum communication systems. They carried stories, memories, of human struggle, resilience, and hope. Military strategists from other civilizations studied the human approach with a mixture of fear and fascination. The modular design challenged everything they knew about space warfare. It wasn't about overwhelming force, but about intelligent, adaptive response. Jinwoo remembered the early days of the project, the countless meetings, the skeptical voices, the moments of doubt. Now those uncertainties seemed like distant memories. The orbital station buzzed with activity. Technicians from diverse backgrounds worked seamlessly, their movements synchronized. Like a complex dance, they weren't just building a fleet. They were writing a new chapter in human history. Galactic power dynamics had shifted. Humanity was no longer seen as a minor species to be overlooked. They were now a civilization that demanded respect, not through aggressive posturing, but through technological innovation and strategic thinking. We chose a different path, Jinwoo often told his team. We didn't just want to survive, we wanted to thrive. As another fleet module connected with mathematical precision, the message was clear. Humanity had arrived, not with a roar, but with a calculated, intelligent transformation that would reshape galactic understanding forever. The stars continued their eternal dance. But now, they seemed to be watching humanity with a newfound respect. A new era had begun.